The rain had been falling for hours, turning the streets into rivers of shimmering reflections. Under the dim glow of a flickering streetlight, a woman in a soaked business suit stood trembling beside a silver car that refused to start. Her perfectly tied bun was unraveling, her mascara was smudged, and the power that once radiated from her boardroom confidence seemed to have washed away with the storm. She was the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company, yet at that moment, she looked utterly lost. That was when she saw him, a single father, still in his grease-stained overalls, closing up his small-town auto shop for the night. He looked exhausted, his eyes carrying the weight of too many sleepless nights and too many bills waiting to be paid. But when she whispered, almost brokenly, "Can I sleep in your car?" he froze. He didn't know whether to laugh, cry, or question if the woman standing before him was real. It wasn't just a strange request. It was the beginning of something neither of them could have imagined. The storm had started earlier that evening when Ryan Miller was finishing up his last repair for the day. A single father to a 6-year-old daughter, Lily, he'd been juggling work, fatherhood, and endless worry for years. His small auto shop barely made enough to cover rent, and the town's rich clients often drove past him to the newer, flashier garages across the highway. Still, Ryan kept working, because Lily deserved a better life. He was just locking the gate when headlights flashed through the rain, stopping right in front of his workshop. Out stepped a woman, tall, elegant, but visibly shaken. Her black heels clicked against the wet ground, each step slower than the last. I think my car died," she said, voice trembling from the cold. "And my phone's dead too." "I saw your sign," and Ryan quickly grabbed a towel from his bench and offered it. "Here, you're drenched. Let me take a look." She hesitated before taking it, her hands cold against his. Something in her eyes, pride mixed with desperation, made him pause. He lifted the hood, shined a flashlight, and sighed. "Battery's gone. You'll need a jump, but I don't have another working car right now. Power's out in half the block." She bit her lip, looking around helplessly. "Is there a motel nearby?" He shook his head. "Not unless you want to walk 5 miles in the rain." She stood there, silent. Then, almost whispering, she said it, "Can I sleep in your car?" Ryan froze. He looked at her again, the soaked designer suit, the diamond watch, the face he felt like he'd seen somewhere before. "She didn't belong here, not in this kind of night." "Wait," he said cautiously. "You're serious?" Her eyes glistened with unshed tears. "Please. Just for a few hours. I'll leave at sunrise." Against every instinct, he nodded. "All right. You can take my car. I'll grab some blankets from inside." When he came back, she was already sitting inside, hugging herself for warmth. He handed her a blanket, then stood awkwardly by the window. "You can lock the doors. I'll be just inside the shop if you need anything." Before he could turn away, she asked softly, "Why are you being kind to me?" He hesitated. "Because you look like you forgot what kindness feels like." That night, neither of them slept much. She watched the rain through the fogged-up window, thinking about how she had lost control of her life despite owning everything money could buy. And inside the shop, Ryan sat staring at an overdue bill, wondering how life could be so cruel to good people. At dawn, when the rain stopped, she stepped out quietly. Her makeup was gone, her shoes ruined, but her eyes were calmer. "Thank you," she said, her voice raw. "You didn't even ask who I was." Ryan smiled faintly. "Didn't need to. Everyone's just human in the rain." She handed him a business card before driving off in her now jumping car. The gold lettering gleamed, Evelyn Hart, CEO, Hart Automotive Group. He stood frozen again, staring at the name of one of the largest auto corporations in the country. The same one that had driven his small-town shop out of business years ago. A week passed before he heard from her again. Ryan was closing up when a sleek black car pulled up. The same woman stepped out, but this time, she wasn't drenched. She looked powerful again, her presence commanding attention. Yet, when she smiled, it wasn't the cold, corporate kind, it was genuine. "I need your help," she said, surprising him. "We're expanding Hart Automotive's community program. I want local mechanics, real ones who care about people, to lead it. I remembered your shop." He blinked. "Why me?" "Because you're the first person who didn't treat me like a CEO," she said softly. And because I owe you more than one night's shelter. You reminded me what humanity looks like. He hesitated. I don't think I'm fit for you are, she interrupted gently. You fixed my heart before fixing my car. Months passed, and Ryan's world changed. His small shop became the training hub for young mechanics under the company's new outreach program. Lily laughed more often, and for the first time in years, Ryan could breathe. Evelyn visited often, not as a CEO inspecting progress, but as someone who had found peace in simplicity. One evening, as the sun set behind the shop, she stood beside him watching Lily chase fireflies. You know, she said quietly, I never told you why I was out that night. I just walked out of a board meeting after discovering that my own people were betraying me. I had everything, but I felt emptier than ever. I didn't want to go home to my mansion. I just wanted to be seen. Ryan turned to her, his voice calm. And now? She smiled, a single tear slipping down her cheek. Now I am. He reached out and took her hand, their fingers intertwining, two people from different worlds, brought together by a broken engine and a moment of compassion. As the camera pans out on the scene, the small-town mechanic's shop glowing in the amber sunset, the CEO laughing softly with a child, the narrator's voice echoes, sometimes, the people we help for one night end up changing our entire life. And sometimes, the ones who seem to have everything, just need someone to remind them they're human too.